Exercise number one, we're gonna start with squats, and we're gonna use a Smith machine today. The benefits of a Smith machine are that we're locked into a plane. Since this is our first leg workout, being locked into the plane has several benefits. Let's start with, how do you know how to position yourself in the Smith machine? Well, here's what we're gonna do. I've got these bands on here to show. Envision this as being an extension of the bar, kind of like I went over with the lat pull down the other day. So this is the line of force from the bar all the way to the ground. So how do you know how far forward to have your feet compared to how far backward to have your feet? You want to position this bar so that when you lower in this squat, when you get to the very bottom part of the range, this bar is going basically right in between your knee and your hip. So my butt is behind the bar this way, and then my knee is in front of the bar, but I'm not so far forward that my hip is directly underneath the bar. So I'm not here, and I'm not so far back that my knee is directly underneath the bar. So it's gonna split the middle. So front to back, this bar is gonna be right in between your hip and your knee. Basic mechanics for this, we're gonna go feet positioned a little bit outside of your hips. Range of motion wise, your range is gonna be all dictated by what you can control and your back position. So you're sinking into your squat. When I get to down here, that I'm gonna stay arched in my back, and I'm not gonna let my hips tuck underneath me this way. That arch in your back is super important on this to maintain. I want you to really pay attention to that. So I'm gonna walk you through all these things as we go through this, and we're gonna kind of learn this thing together. Let's go ahead and go set number one. Let's just go ahead and walk you through the whole process. I'm gonna guess on a weight. So I'm gonna start with 45 per side. So what I want you to do is I want you to bias light. Step one, where do you put this bar on your back? How do you position the bar? I'm gonna position this bar so that it's on the top of my shoulder blade. So it's sitting on the shelf of my shoulder blade. I'm not so far underneath it that it's way up here. And it's not too far here on my back where it's gonna slip off. It's gonna be right on the shelf of your shoulder blade. And I'm gonna show you that really quick. It's gonna be right here is where you're gonna set that bar. Shelf of my shoulder blade. Now, I'm gonna put my feet a little bit forward. Feet are outside of my hips, so I'm a little wider than hip width. And I'm gonna kind of gauge my position so that this bar is sitting right between my hip and my knee at the bottom part of the range. Okay, we're gonna go 1 minute at a time under tension. Okay, I'm gonna make my muscles, my glutes, my quads, my hamstrings, control this bar all the way down. I'm gonna pause here at the bottom part of the range, and I'm gonna drive my feet into the ground to lift me up. Pause here. Drive them back up. What's everybody doing at Crunch Fitness? Notice how reps like that with no control don't make my muscles work. I'm letting physics and momentum do all the work, whereas now I'm making all the muscles in my lower body fight this thing the whole time. That's a minute. I'm gonna do one more. Pause here for 3, 2, 1. We're gonna go into a calf raise. I'm gonna position my feet, hip width. Come up as high as I can, control them back down. I'm gonna drive through my big toe and my little toe, squeezing at the top, fighting gravity all the way down. I'm not just doing this. I'm not just moving up and down. I'm making my muscles control the whole time. Two more reps. Last one. Rest. Okay, I'm gonna gauge my rest for a minute. If I get to a minute and I need more time, I'm gonna give myself another minute or 30 seconds. So what I want you to do is evaluate on that set on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard was that? Or use the reps in reserve scale, meaning at the end of that set, how many more reps could you have done? If it's over 3, we need to raise the weight or we need to change some things. Before you make a weight change, ask yourself, were you controlling the weight or was the weight controlling you? I would say in a squat, more than anything, I see people letting the bar push them down as opposed to them fighting the bar all the way down. There's a big difference. I could have done probably 4 or 5 more on that, so I'm gonna raise the weight. I'll put a 25 on here. Leg day is a fun day to instruct and exercise because it's definitely the highest caloric expenditure day, the hardest day. Okay, that's a minute. I'm gonna get my mind right. Okay, our focus on this set, we are gonna make our muscles fight every inch that this bar moves. So let's do that. Time started. The bar is gonna be on the shelf of my shoulder blade. I'm gonna walk my feet forward just a little bit. Feet are positioned outside of my hips. I'm gonna sink my hips down and back. I'm gonna pause. Tighten my glutes, my quads, and hamstrings. Drive that bar all the way up. I am fighting the bar every inch that I lower. I'm gonna hold for 3, 2, press. My posture is neutral, my spine, back is arched, chest is up. I'm making my muscles control every inch that I move, and I am owning the movement. It is not owning me. That's a minute. Go one more. Calf raise. 30 to 45 seconds. Notice my feet, I brought them in just a little bit. I also moved my feet directly underneath me, so I'm standing in a straight line. So my feet are not forward. They're not backward. I'm directly underneath the bar. Controlling all the way down. Pause. Tighten first. 2 more. Lock it, rest. How many reps did I do? I don't know, I wasn't counting. If you don't know that by now, you need to start all over again. Watch the beginning videos. Whew, I gotta get my energy back. I will say this, if you don't need to get your energy back at this point, the weight's not heavy enough. If you don't look like me, if you're not like hands on the effing knees, struggling, make a change on this next set. Feet front to back. How do you position them? You position your feet so that they're far enough forward for the bar to split right between your hip in your knee, and they're not so far back that they're going directly over your knee. What you'll see people do is you'll see people go really far forward on a Smith machine, like where their feet are like way out here, like in front of them, like this way. The reason they're doing that is because they're trying to make this more of a quad loaded exercise. That is one way of doing it. My opinion is get on a leg extension and do that. So, okay. Let's raise it. I'm gonna go up. Let's load this bitch up. And I don't want all the people on social media to say I got small legs. All right, here we go. Round 3. Once again, reps in reserve. How hard was your last set? If you could have done more than 3 reps, we need to increase the weight, or you need to increase your time under tension, or control things more. I mean, this needs to feel hard by this point. Walking my feet forward. Feet are a little bit outside of my hips. As I lower, I'm going to keep my knees in line with my toes. So I'm going to track my knees right in line with my toes. Pause. Drive it up. I'm in control of the weight. The weight is not in control of me. Do you know how effing hard this is to control the eccentric part of this? Watch people do this. You never see this. Definitely getting hard. Time is up. Almost lost it. Reps in reserve, 0. Calf raise. Controlling every inch. I'm not just flying around. Two more. Rest. Shit, that's hard. Round 3. What was my reps in reserve on that? It was 0. Back almost started caving in. I thought I got hard very fast. So, heart rate's heart rate's 155. I'm gonna go down on the way to the next set. I'm gonna drop it. So if you don't look like me right now, it's not hard enough. Make sure you're paying attention to your back position. Make sure that you're paying attention to your knee position. I did mention on that last set that as you lower, you want to track your knees in alignment with your toes. So look here. If I weren't doing this, my knees would be in here like this, or they'd be out here like this. You know, you can do this wider with the feet. You can do this more narrow with the feet. The biggest principle is no matter where you place your feet, track your toes with them because your knee's a hinge joint. So if my toes are way out here and I'm wide, then I'm gonna track my knees wider as well. If my feet are way in here, and I'm doing the squat, then my knees are gonna track right over. But your knee joint is a hinge joint. It's very similar to a door. So think about the hinge of a door. If you open a door and you move it outside of its hinge over time, it's going to screw that hinge joint up. Your knee is the same way. You want to, since it doesn't have a ton of planes of movement, you have to align this knee up with whatever plane you're moving through. Here we go, last set. All right, this is where the magic's at. Round 3. Let's do it. Bars on the shelf of my shoulder blade. Feet are slightly forward. Feet are outside of my hips. Chest is up tall. I'm in control of the weight. The weight is not in control of me. What's everybody doing at crunch? What are we doing? We're gonna make our legs control every inch that we lower. We're gonna pause, we're gonna tighten and drive. Fuck. That's time. I'm sweating balls right now. Feet, moving them back, calf raise. Controlling my breath. Squeezing here at the top, making my calf fight all the way down. Rest. 4 sets. That was hard. That's round 1. That's exercise 1. So we started this thing out with a bang. Squats. It's one of the hardest exercises out there. One of the most complex exercises out there. One of the most important exercises out there. You're gonna burn more calories here than pretty much anything else. I'm gonna break these clips into parts, segment them for technique. You can scroll through the app and you can watch different technique videos on this. So if you're looking at this screen right here, just know that you can scroll down and watch segmented technique clips. Let's go to RDLs. Let's go to exercise number 2.